guys! Welcome back to my channel and it's been a while simula na nagkita tayo sa huling vlog ko. Kasakit kasi ako for like 2 weeks. Ako nagpahinga hanggang ngayon medyo hindi pa sobrang okay. Inuubo-ubo pa rin ako at most times. Kaya yung boses ko, pagpasensyahan ng boses natin ay ganito pa. Ayan. But I'm okay na, magaling na. Natagalan lang ang paggaling kasi sick leave ako and then pumasok na rin kagad ako. So, hindi pa ako fully magaling nung time na pumasok ako kaya medyo natagalan yung pag-recover natin, no? So, today guys, meron tayong imi-meet na mga mahahalagang personalidad. Ay, mahalagang personalidad talaga rito, no? Sa Indiana, ayan. So, imi-meet natin ang President of PNAA, Chapter Indiana, Philippine Nurses Association of America ng Indiana Chapter. Ayan, na si Miss Matty Upanyo. Ayan, so imi-meet natin si Miss Matty Upanyo and with other member of PNAA ng Indiana Chapter, no? Makami-meet natin sila. Kung kaka-member nyo lang or kung member kayo ng PNAA, sana nakasama kayo, no, sa aming late lunch or early dinner for today. Ayan. And hopefully makasama ko kayo sa iba pang events ng PNAA. Ayan. So, may mga nagpadala na ng katanungan sa akin. Katanungan talaga. Na pwede nating ipatanong or mga question nila for Miss Matty. Ayan. Kasi kumuha na ako ng mga iilan na mga gusto nilang ipatanong kay Miss Matty. So, mamaya tatanong natin yan sa kanya, no? Ayan. And then, let's see kung ano mangyayari and ano ang purpose and benefits of becoming a member in PNAA. Ako guys, personal opinion ko, no. It is nice and maganda na mag-join and magpa-member kayo sa PNAA or Philippine Nurses Association of America. Kasi syempre, sila yung unang community natin na makakasama natin dito sa Amerika. Lalo na yung sa mga bagong dating pa lang, no? Kasi, lalo na yung mga walang kamag-anak, wala talagang kasama sa state na yon. It is better na reconnect. Ito yung best way to reconnect to your fellow nurses. Okay? And network. Alam niyo, you know what I mean. No? Guys, network is a best way to reach out to your fellow nurses, to Filipinos here in kung saan state kayo na nandun, di ba? So, sila yung magiging unan yung community. Aside sa, syempre, sa mga church nyo, di ba? Sa katrabaho nyo, aside sa kanila, sila yung unan nating magiging community talaga sa profession natin. Ayan. So, mamaya malalaman natin ano pa yung mga benefits na pwede natin makuha in becoming a member of PNAA. Okay? So, see you later! Ano na kami sa Tianfu. Ganito ang mga kami-member ng PNAA ng Indiana Chapter. And papakilala natin sila. Nahiya ako. Nahiya si Mama. So, papakilala natin sila isa-isa, no? So, tita, pakilala ka naman.
Pakilala ka.
Ano po pangalan niyo and from where? How long na kayo dito sa Indiana?
Binigyan po kayo ng jacket tsaka 5,000.
Okay, ako na lang.
Sige na lang.
I'm Minette Salvador Good. I'm originally from Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, Philippines. Nice.
How long na po kayo rito?
I have been here since 1997.
Wow.
And Indiana,
I got married for somebody from Indiana, so I live in Indiana, and these are cool.
what's good with Indiana po?
Indiana is the best because I was able to buy a house that we can afford, and all my friends who has been here like forever. colleagues in California, in Chicago, and anywhere except Indiana. They're still living in the apartment. They said they could not afford. It's very expensive.
So you advise po na mas okay ang Indiana?
I advise, this is where you will see a lot of Filipinos who are closer together because it's not a very big place and most of us are nurses. And even if they are not nurses, when Mati will call for a gathering, we'll wear something, we are all coming. So everybody is welcome, that's why.
May pa-annual event daw yan si Tita. Ayan.
So that's
Puntahan natin
why
sila.
I love Indiana. I will never exchange it for any other places. I can go to other places like Chicago, California, and things. I still would like to go back to India.
Kasi carbs.
Sa Indianapolis po kayo nakatira? Or?
I live in a farm. We have a little farm because I'm retired. My husband works at home now.
Balance ang diet.
He's remote worker now.
Pero hindi
Sana all.
Pero mataas ang
Your small
Oh,
farm.
I have a small 30 acres. How many acre pond?
Small 30 acre.
Wow.
40 acre pond, you can swim. I have a little paddle. I have all the water thing that you want to ride.
go hunting.
You can go hunting starting
natin
second week of November. Host a lot of Filipino friends from Indianapolis, they will gather together and they stay there and in
Magpapa-house
return,
tour po kayo sa amin.
yes, of course.
House tour tayo.
And they normally when they come back for the next, because they're hunting all weekends until it ends December, they will always bring me. As of now, I have tons of deer meat in my freezer because I'm the only one eating. When Filipino friends comes, that's what I serve them.
Here?
Deer meat.
Dear.
Best meat. There is no fat, and it's really
Kaya
the
nga.
best
Pure
meat.
protein.
Yeah. All right, so you are welcome. I would like the
Marketing.
newcomers to come and see us. Si Aling Trini, as of now, she has not been to the place. It's always postponed.
Okay, next.
Paano gagawin natin?
Aroy, ikaw daw muna.
Hi. My name is Romel. Actually, I'm just new here in Indianapolis. We just arrived like 2 weeks ago. And you know, the people, the Filipinos here, especially the nurses, they are very overwhelming. So 2 weeks pa lang kami dito, but we've met a lot of people na through the connections, and alam mo, parang welcome na welcome ka sa kanila. So we're very happy, and so far the place is good. It's a small city, not that toxic. So far life is okay here, and we're looking forward to be living here forever.
Wow,
It's
yes.
because of our leader nurses
Yes.
in nursing here in Indiana that they cuts us all together all the time.
Teka, saan sa Pinas?
I'm from Iloilo.
Iloilo yan. Manuwaga ka sa mga kamag-anak.
So, mga kamag-anak ko dun sa Iloilo. So, I'm here. And sa mga nurses sa Iloilo, so it's very good.
Come to Indiana.
Come to Indiana and try to experience the peaceful life
The
here.
hospitality,
The hospitality of the Filipinos.
Be here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
China is from Tacloban, arrived last May 23 with Rommel. So far, I'm starting to love the place, and the warm welcome from our co-nurses is amazing. It's like we're building a family here, so come to Indiana.
Wow, may taga-promote. Miss Matty! Oh, by the way, Miss Matty is the president of Philippine Nurses Association of America, Indiana chapter. Ayan.
Hi everyone, I'm Maddie Opano. I would like to welcome everybody to Indiana, and I would like to invite all the nurses to join the Philippine Nurses Association of Indiana. This will be my 4th time as president of the chapter, and I've had a really great time. We've accomplished so much, but we would like for new members to come and join us, because most of us are retired. So we need new blood, and young nurses who can take the chapter into the next generation.
Still need you po. Meron po
You're
sila
all very
actually
welcome.
question na pinadala sa akin. So, what are the benefits of joining PNAA?
Okay, there are lots of benefits both from PNAA and from PNA Indiana. Number one is scholarship. If you want to advance your career, get advanced degrees in nursing, PNA Indiana offers a $1,000 scholarship for one BSN and one advanced degree like master's, PhD, or DNP. That's every year. We also offer, if you want to get certifications in nursing, we reimburse your certification fee of $250. So we encourage our nurses to take advanced degrees. A lot of times, the hospitals where you work, they offer tuition reimbursement. And that's how I got my advanced degree. I worked for Indiana University Health for almost 50 years. And I graduated from a diploma school, St. Paul, which is now a university in Iloilo. So I finished my RN to BSN progression from Indiana University and my master's degree as a nurse practitioner from Indiana University. And I finished all of this while working full-time at university and Riley Hospital for Children. And I took advantage of the tuition reimbursement that the hospital offered. So that's something that is not included in your paycheck. So that's a benefit that I encourage you to avail of. And PNAA also offers scholarships, but it's very competitive because it's offered to all of the chapters. So you have to compete with other applicants from the 55 chapters all over America. We also have recognition awards. We have like Nursing Excellence Award in Indiana, which we give every year. Member Excellence Award, Leadership Award, and we also offer 2 leadership awards at the North Central Regional Conference from our chapter. We also have philanthropic activities. So we have a Kababayan Emergency Fund. If any member of our immediate family have experienced devastation from the flood in the Philippines, we can apply for a grant. We usually give $200 from our funds in Indiana. And we have as much as 19 to 20 floods a year, typhoons in the Philippines. So that's a very common devastation in the Philippines that we have set aside money in our budget for. We also provide donations to the Philippines. Like last year, we joined with the Philippine Humanitarian Coalition in Washington, D.C. and then NAFAA. We were able to provide 250 families of tricycle drivers in Barangay Agumanan in Bacolod with a bag containing 1 whole chicken, 2 kilos of rice, and some pancit. And we distributed that through an NGO called the Ortalis Foundation in Bacolod City. And here we also donate. We also provide free wellness screenings, health promotion, and free hemoglobin A1C cardiolipid testing to the community at the Asian Festival. We just had one in last May 23rd. We are going to have another one on July 23 at the community in Chapel Hill, which is in Warren Township. We will provide the same services, and we usually collaborate with Indiana Philippine Association of Medical Technologists, the PAMET, and they usually do the testing for us. And the Indiana Philippine Medical Association, or IPMA, and the doctors provide the medical consultations in addition to our nurse practitioners in our from our chapter, like Pressy and Carlene. So we have 2 coming up, wellness screenings. The community outreach in Chapel Hill and at the International Festival on October 15th. This will be held at the Exposition Building at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. So because of the pandemic, we weren't able to do it the past 2 years. So this will be our first time after the pandemic to do this service. And what else? You also have the opportunity to network with other PNAA members during conventions. And when we attend North Central Regional Conference or the National Convention, this year it will be in New York City on Broadway. We usually have a budget for our delegates, so we partially reimburse them for their expenses in attending conventions for PNAA Indiana. And like I attended the Nurse in Washington internship in Washington, D.C. last May 21 to 23rd. And PNAA reimbursed all my expenses, my airfare, my hotel, my registration. My registration fee alone was $599. So they reimbursed me for almost $1,500 for that. And I have to write an article, so I'm sure I'll send you a copy of the Inside PNAA, because anytime we have stories to tell, we always publish it. We always submit an article of our stories at the Inside PNAA. And also, we take part in nursing policies and legislation. We write our legislators. For instance, for workplace violence for nurses, we supported ANA and took part in letter writing to our legislators for that. We also took part in letter writing to our senators and congressmen to release the COVID vaccines early to the Philippines. So instead of releasing it last July, they released it in May. So we were part of that. And PNAA is very active in advocating for human rights and for ethical recruitment of our healthcare from the Philippines. So they are part of the CGFNS Alliance. They wrote a white paper on ethical recruitment of nurses from the Philippines. Mary Joy Garcia, who is the current president of PNAA, is one of the commissioners who provided the foundation's publication from ANA about racism, how to address racism in nursing. And that was just released last week, so I sent that all to everybody, and I think you got a copy of that as well. I also sent a copy of the legislation that we just participated in, the House Bill 1003, to the Indiana State Nurses Association Bulletin. And so now, Indiana was one of 6 states that exclusively required CGFNS exam in order to qualify as an RN in the state of Indiana before you could take the NCLEX-RN exam. So now through legislation, we were able to not remove the CGFNS exam, but expand the pathways to licensure. So now we have 3 ways to be able to get your license in Indiana. Initially, during the implementation phase of the House Enrolled Act 1003, the Indiana State Board of Nursing had misunderstood the law, and it caused panic among FENs and among recruitment agencies, because they required the nurses after March 10. They implemented it in such a way that the board required both CGFNS exam and CES, or CGFNS exam and visa screen, which is not what was intended in the law. So I've contacted the board director, Alisa Service, and when he responded with a misinterpretation of the law, I worked with Blaine Miley. So Blaine clarified everything. He had a detailed explanation of that was sent to Alisa Service, the board director of the Indiana Board of Nursing. So they were, that clarified the situation. And this happened on May 15th. And May 18th, they sent a statement to clarify the interpretation as it was intended to be. That it was not and, but it was or. CGSNS or credentials evaluation screen report or visa screen. So now that misinterpretation was clarified. So thank goodness that has happened. So right now we're working on. I think I asked Romel to help me do more research on which states require the Social Security number before you could apply for NCLEX RN exam or be licensed in Indiana. So far, according to my research, there are only 13 states that do not require Social Security number. So that's one of the things that's up in the burner for us. And we work directly with Blaine Miley, who is the Director of Policy and Advocacy at the Indiana State Nurses Association. One thing that's at the back of my mind too is about the nursing salary rate, because we need legislation to increase the salary rates for nursing. So it's going to take a long time, but it's going to be a very, very long process, and so that's why we need new nurses like you
May
to
last
help
question
us.
po sila. So, can we get like support din po if ever na may mga lawsuit yung mga nurses?
Of course, yes. In fact, historically, in 2017, there were 200 sit-dosa care nurses that took the agency to court because they were overworked, they withheld their passports, they withheld their salary, and so they couldn't do anything, and then they charged them for leaving their duty without any replacement. So they reported them to the Board of Nursing. PNAA was one of those agencies that helped these nurses with the Heritage Commission. Arnaldo Valera is a lawyer in the Heritage Commission in Washington, D.C. So everybody worked to help these nurses, and they won that lawsuit. So they won it in 2019. As you can see, the legal process is very slow, and they were only given the judgment just this year, May of this year.
3 years.
Yeah, so almost 5 years. So it's been almost 5 years, and I'll give you a copy of that judgment that were given to the nurses who were involved in the Sentosa care. There was also another nurse in New Jersey who, because she moved from one place to another, missed the communication that she was supposed to report to the U.S. Embassy. She missed that, and they arrested her and incarcerated her. So PNAA helped her get out of jail, and so after a few months, they were able to get her out of jail. They were able to get her unemployment, and so that's another story of how PNAA helps our nurses legally.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of committees in PNAA. We have a human rights committee, we have ethics committee, we have the legislative committee, and I'm a member of that committee. We have the global affairs committee. This year it was just created as a committee. Before that, 2 years before that, it was only a task force. It was called the International Alliance Task Force. Now it was renamed the Global Affairs Committee. So I'm one of the members of that committee. And we really need young nurses to join the group and be active members. But if you're really very busy right now and you cannot allocate your time for the activities of PNAA, and PNAA. Just being a member will support us because the $10 that you pay for your membership to PNAA Indiana helps us with our everyday activities, with our screenings, with all the things that we do. And the total membership fee is $60, but $50 of that goes to PNAA. And that entitles you to a copy of a peer-reviewed journal, the John Carr, which is a journal of nursing practice and research. So that's, I think, that's quarterly, I think, or biannually. It is mailed to your address. So it's important that you submit your current address to PNAA because that comes directly from PNAA. And like I said, we're involved with the with the ANA also. Where PNAA is a chapter member, an affiliate member of ANA. We are planning to be an affiliate member of Indiana State Nurses Association also, but we haven't had we haven't had that much fundraising because of the pandemic, and the fee is $300. So we're waiting to at least recoup some money from our expenses before we could join to be able to fee that fee. For the legislation, we contracted with the Bowen Center for Health Workforce and Policy and Research to conduct research for us, and we pay them a fee, which is for us was very exorbitant. But if you think of the benefits that we reaped from this service, they advocated for us with the Indiana State Board of Nursing. They also advocated for us at the Governor's Commission on Public Health. They raised the issue of the RN licensure as a barrier for foreign educated nurses in Indiana, and that's how it helped facilitate and start the ball rolling for the legislative process that we did in order to do legislation for this expansion of pathways for RN licensure. Prior to this, we were doing it through the rules promulgation process, but the rules promulgation process had a moratorium in 2013 and it hasn't been taken back. So that was one of our roadblocks for not having this successfully done through the rules promulgation process or rules change process. And what else, Red? Do you have any other things that benefits that they could get from PNAA and PNA Indiana? Red is our executive director.
You had it all covered.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Matthew.
Oh, you're welcome. So thank you for giving me a heads up, and thank you for meeting with us. I am so proud to have met you. I've met you indirectly through Chris Ducanis.
I think Melody po. Ata. Melody?
No, it started with Chris. Because Chris came from Iloilo. He was a clinical instructor at St. Paul University Iloilo. And Dulce introduced him to me. And she said, Manay, Chris is coming, nobody's going to pick him up at the airport. And I said, maybe it's a 2-hour drive to go take him to New Albany. As it turned out, he flew to Louisville. So fortunately, his flight was delayed. He was supposed to arrive at 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. We would have left, I would have awakened at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning to pick him up at the airport. But his flight was delayed, he arrived in the afternoon. So Florence, another member of PNA Indiana, came with me. And we had goodies from Red and Josie and myself that we donated for him to start his apartment in New Albany. So we picked him up in Louisville, then took him to his apartment. And then he was telling me that Mama RN was the one who told him what document he needed for endorsement of his license. So I tried to look you up and I couldn't find you. And then when I finally got to that page, I saw a picture of you with Melody. I said, oh, this is Melody. I know this is the name of her husband, this is the name of her son. So I know this is Melody, so I contacted Melody, and she was the one who introduced me to you, and she contacted you, got your email, got your phone number, and that's how we finally met.
See? That's what you get from talking to Indiana.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad din po to meet you and everyone.
We're-
Yeah, join na. Bye!
Kasi meron dito na ilagay sa bulsa ko.
Last time, dalawa kami nun pumunta.
Naglakad kami kahapon. Nilakad namin yun.
Legit naman yun.
Masarap.
Siya mismo sa American may-ari. Hindi siya, hindi kasi yung ari.
Chinese daw yung may-ari. Hindi siya gaanong matamis.
Hindi kagaya sa Journeys.
Oo, matikman na talagang.
Talagang malaman. Pero masarap.
Yossi, magkano ang isang pound dun sa ano?
7.99.
Magkano?
7.99.